The future is not for personal brands. The future is for practitioner brands. People no longer care about your thoughts, perspectives, and stories about anything. Me talking about the school system because I had a bad experience in schools won't build a brand for me. Because there are thousands, if not millions of people who are doing the same exact thing. There are so many people today we see online who talk about the matrix, the school system, and the banking system, thinking that's what builds a brand. Because they have been told to share their thoughts, perspectives, and stories to build a personal brand. The personal in personal brand is about you. So you should fluff around with all of your irrational beliefs and boring stories. Most business people today are trying to become influencers by building a brand around them as the main character. Their feelings are their content. All those irrational, boring stories becomes a viral moment. It's clear and obvious. It won't get you anywhere. There is no such way you can turn this out to $1 million business. It never happens. How do you tackle this, and what are the actionable steps you can take moving forward? The idea of a practitioner brand didn't came to existence today like the influencer personal branding. This was a thing way back in the ancient and medieval periods. I'm talking about way before 15th century. People used to write about their practice, whether that's art, science, business, or philosophy, in manuscripts, scrolls, and codex. With the invention of printing press in the 15th century, this became printed books. By 18th century, there was a significant increase in these books around one's personal practice as a result of the scientific inquiry and rational thought. Today, as we see, this is in the form of not only books but magazines, journals, and so on and so forth. What is the difference between personal branding and practitioner branding? Personal branding is the generous act of public journaling. You sharing your thoughts, perspectives, beliefs, and stories online or offline so people can benefit from your existence. The problem is it becomes irrational. You speaking about your experience as an introvert kid or someone who was diagnosed by ADHD from a young age might help a lot of people. But if you become the epicenter of your personal brand, you will have a hard time building a business because there is no specific avatar you can target, because all those people came for completely different reasons. For context, your post about dropping out of high school will attract a lot of teens and people in their early 20s. At the same time, your post about diagnosing from some complicated disease will attract people in their late 40s. Practitioner branding is the generous act of you sharing your thoughts, beliefs, and perspectives not around you as the main subject, but around your practice. You have spent your entire life, or you're actively spending your time practicing certain narrowed subjects like habits, articulation, content creation. Like the manuscripts in ancient period, you're writing about it online under your name on social media. Now, both of these are kind of similar, so the better way to frame this will be practitioner branding is the act of rationalizing personal brand. So you change the epicenter from you to a topic you are obsessed in, helping you build an audience of other people who are obsessed too, building a profitable business for you. Here are 3 of my favorite practitioner brands: Win Giang Kuang, Jeremiah Minor, and Joseph Tsar. Watch their content to further understand how this is done. Now, here are the 2 actionable steps as promised. Being unique is important. It's the whole point of both the personal and practitioner branding. But unlike personal branding, you want to rationalize the whole thing. You can only do that when you solve a common problem. It's not something only you have encountered, but millions of other people too. You can understand this by searching about it on Google or YouTube. And if there are enough search results, it is a common problem. If not, it's not a common problem. It's irrational. For me, I know how hard making videos is. I personally have found it so hard. Almost all of my business friends find it too hard. And yes, I have done this exercise as well. So it's a common problem. Now, here's the next important thing. You need to provide unique solutions. You are spending, or you're supposed to spend, a lot of time figuring this thing out. Now your job is to share your conclusions through your content. You are documenting your practice. It is supposed to be unique. And because you break it down through a first principle thinking or a relatable story, people can rationalize it. Now, because you're not posting content around things like consistency is the key, which have been told a million times and are proven to go viral, there is uncertainty in your growth. You can beat this by posting more. Sure, you're solving common problems and you're explaining it through first principle thinking or a relatable story, but because you're sharing new, unfamiliar ideas, people will have a hard time accepting it. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the most brutally honest philosophers in history, calls this as a curse of intelligence. When your ideas are new, you will have a hard time fitting in society. Same goes with your content. If you don't post more, you will have a hard time making this work. But if you choose this path and stay longer, you will become way more successful than you could possibly imagine. Not only because of the traffic you gain in the long term or the trust people have in your brand, but because you're rewarded for questioning yourself so harder and breaking things down more simple. Call it self-reflection or self-actualization. This is the path of you becoming the best version of yourself. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. Like if you like, subscribe if you want, join my free WhatsApp community where you can ask me any questions you want and I will give you my brief answers. See you on the next one.